Hey everyone, welcome to Hurricane Season 2023. This is Advin Collin here. Today I will be providing you all with my very own tropical update. To start things off, let's broaden our perspective a little bit. Here you will see that I have attached a GIF of the Ghost 16 Channel 13 IR satellite. As you can see, there is much to talk about. If we zoom our focus onto the northwest portion of the satellite image, you'll see that our country is dealing with a lot. You'll see that there are two mesoscale convective systems traversing the central to eastern portions of the United States. And you also see that there is a large area devoid of any thunderstorm activity, concentrated primarily around Texas, all the way down to Florida. That's our debilitating heat wave that we are currently dealing with. If you're wondering where all this heat is coming from, you can think a very strong ridge of high pressure centered over portions of eastern Texas and western Louisiana. Not only is this ridge bringing dangerous heat to the south, it is also creating an area very conducive for severe thunderstorm formation today. In fact, NOAA has designated a large area for slight, enhanced, and moderate risks for severe weather today, of which include large hail, damaging winds, and isolated tornadoes. If you live in any of these areas, I highly recommend that you pay attention to your forecast closely and heed to the advice of your local weather experts as necessary. Now we shift our attention to the tropical Atlantic. On the middle part of your screen, you'll see that there is a large area of disturbed weather located near the northern portions of the Caribbean and just to the south of Bermuda. Now, this area is actually being monitored for potential development by the National Hurricane Center, though odds for development are very low at this time. If we look at the 7-day graphical tropical weather outlook, the NHC dubs a very low risk for development. Development odds for the next 48 hours is 10%, and over the next 7 days also is 10%. And it appears that conditions are not conducive for development at this time due to strong upper-level winds and dry air in the immediate vicinity of this disturbance. Now, in terms of where this disturbance will go, we can see that there is a general northward movement at 5 miles per hour, according to the current NHC estimates. And if you look in the satellite image, you'll see that there is a trough approaching the northwestern portions of this disturbance, which should pull this disturbance out of the Caribbean and ultimately send it out to sea. Now we move our attention down to the southern portion of the satellite image. We can see a pretty healthy looking tropical wave moving across the central portions of the main development region. This one actually has a decent amount of convection with it, which is a good indicator of how much moisture this wave is transporting with it. And if you look to the north of this disturbance, you'll see that there is a strong ridge of high pressure ushering it westward towards the Caribbean. Now, upon reaching the Caribbean, the question is, will it be able to hold on to all of its moisture in the face of lots of shear and dry air ahead of it? Now, let's take a look at current model trends to see what the outcome of this wave might be, whether it will develop or whether it will dissipate upon reaching the Caribbean. Here we have the 12Z GFS model, Z as in Zulu time, for those who don't know. And you'll see that the tropical wave that is centered in the middle of the main development region enters the Caribbean and ultimately fizzles out. If you do look closely, though, you can see later on it tries to do something in the southwestern portions of the Gulf. But of course, this is beyond 7 days and subject to change. Now let's shift our attention to the European model, the 00Z European model. We can see that the outcome is basically the same. It enters the Caribbean, the wave loses all of its moisture, and ultimately fizzles out before reaching the Gulf. So now the question is, who will get rain from this? Well, I think that the possibility for scattered showers and thunderstorms remains for places maybe in the northwestern portions of the Caribbean, like the Yucatan or Jamaica, maybe Cuba. But in my opinion, I don't think this is going to survive the Caribbean. I think it's going to fizzle out and nothing's going to happen with it. Reason being, you'll see that there is a lot of shear coming in from the southwest. If you look at the cloud filaments coming out of the southern portions of the Caribbean near Venezuela, you can see there's a strong flow from the southwest. Plus, you'll see that there is virtually no convection in this area, usually indicating that there's a lot of dry air. And there's also a lot of flow coming in from the northwest, coming in through Florida, which should usher in more dry air into the region. So really, this wave has virtually no chance of developing as far as the conditions present themselves. If we look behind this first disturbance, you'll see that there is another disturbance centered in the eastern portions of the MDR, and another disturbance exiting Africa. However, these waves are not expected to develop in the next 7 days due to the presence of Saharan dust accompanying them. Saharan dust is an inhibiting factor to development, as it generally causes the moisture to dry out, and it also induces a sinking motion that inhibits convection from developing at all. And for those who don't know, convection initiates rising air, and rising air creates lower pressure that causes the air to come in on itself, thus resulting in circulations to form. So with this presence of Saharan dust, it's really hard to have development occur at all. Now, I want to briefly mention the Eastern Pacific, as their hurricane season has been kicked off by the formation of Hurricane Adrian on the far left of the screen, and Tropical Depression 2, soon to become Tropical Storm Beatrice, located just to the south of Mexico. While these systems are no concern to the U.S., they might bring some beneficial rainfall to the desert southwest and perhaps Texas later on. And to the north of Tropical Depression number 2, you'll see that there is a small area of convection located in the Bay of Campeche. This is not expected to develop into anything and will likely bring beneficial rainfall to areas in northeastern Mexico and perhaps southern Texas. Thank you for tuning in to today's Tropical Update. If you have any questions or concerns, please iterate them in the comment section. Have a great day.